Hello everyone, it's time for another shave, and today we're going to return back to the vintage razors and more focused towards the Gillette Tech razors. Once again, thanks to my friend Aaron. This time we're going to take a look at the 1951 American Contract Tech. Let's see if the focus can be improved over here. You can see the branding on the top cap, hopefully. And immediately what we can see here is that we have a black handle. This one is made out of Bakelite. You can see there is a little bit of wear on it, which is absolutely normal. This is kind of like the first plastic, if I'm not wrong, that was used in many industries back in the day. And you can see there is a little chip over here, and I tried to focus the Gillette branding on the bottom here, which is nice touch. And yeah, it's more visible in person rather than the camera. It's the Gillette one, and I tried to make, oh, here we are. The reflection helps. The Made in USA, you can see it also here at the bottom. And also, let's try with the base plate here. Oops, I turned it upside down, my bad. Here we are. If you watch my previous Gillette Tech shaves, you already know that Aaron was kind enough to prepare some notes for me. So, as I mentioned, the handle material, Bakelite, and this top cap and the overall head is very similar to the Canadian 1951 that I already shaved with. And Aaron mentioned that compared to the Canadian one, he sees that the top cap is with slightly thinner metal compared to the Canadian one. That might be hard to say for sure, especially I don't have them next to each other. And the top cap is with a little bit more overhang. We'll see if this will bring any different feeling during the shave. And another thing is that the threaded post is slightly different in this one. When I was checking the razor, I didn't see anything obvious, but yeah, here it is. Now disassemble so you can take a look at the top cap. You already saw the branding, the Gillette one here. Oops. And we have the 4 details at the corner for the blade alignment and the long pin here, that it's like a continuous line going through the middle post. The base plate, similar as well to the Canadian one as the top cap. And the handle, one thing that I really like is that there is a metal insert here for the threading. That's nice, so it's lasting and maintaining the threading for decent amount of time. As you can see, this is from 1951 and it's still with very good threading. For the blade, I'm gonna use feather blade. Here is how it sits on the top cap. And I'm gonna, oops, misaligned it. And I'm gonna just tighten it gently. Of course, the metal insert is there, but with these vintage razors, you don't want to overdo it. We can see the blade alignment. Looks pretty good on both sides. And the side overhangs over here. Just be mindful if you look to grab one of these from an antique shop or second-hand market, just expect this. I don't think that anyone expects for vintage razor to have these blade sides covered, but yeah, I like to bring it up, especially for the head shavers. That's an important for a few areas when they do their shaves. Time to prepare the face. For the soap today, I'll go with Aylsworth Signature. This is Aylsworth's first soap that they released. Very pleasant, classic cologne, clean, citrusy scent. Perfect for the hot weather. It's getting quite warm in Vancouver. And it's been sitting lathered over here. I use my outer brush with Pure Bliss synthetic knot. And this knot, I actually like it way more than the G5C. The more I use it, the more I like it. And also, similar to the G5C, this synthetic knot, the more you use it, it breaks in and performs better and better. Beautiful scent, as I mentioned, really nice. As you can see from the peaks, the base is really good and can take some water as well. Look at the lather. Gorgeous stuff. Okay, first pass with the American Contract Tech. Yeah, the head indeed is just so similar to the 1951 Canadian one, which I liked a lot, so let's see how it shaves. The balance, before I start, feels a little bit different because of the handle, and you see those vertical lines. They seem a little bit less grippy, but I think that they're providing good enough grip. I don't expect to be super slippery, but let's see how it goes. Slightly different balance compared to the Canadian Tech. And so far, smooth. With the feather blade, the blade feel is just enough. For me, it feels very comfortable. Good first pass for a tech. Obviously, decent amount of stubble left, but the Gillette techs, they're so far, this is the third one that I tried. So far, they're all quite mild. So that feather blade being paired there really helps to just ramp up the efficiency a tad bit. I hope that all of you are enjoying the summer. Today I'm off work, so I'll try to do some errands around the house and also spend some time with my oldest. He's on summer break and we're trying to keep him busy, which makes our days also busier. Second pass, cross the grain. Don't really need to announce it. But if you're new to the channel and you see someone shaving with double edge safety razor for the first time, we usually go with the grain, which means following the growth of the hair, cross the grain, which is perpendicular 90 degrees on the growth, and against the grain, which is against the growth. That way we get the smoothest and the closest shave that we all kind of like strive to achieve. Yeah, it feels very, very similar to the Canadian one. If you like extra aggressive razors, I don't think that you enjoy the Gillette Techs much, but I suggest trying them because I feel that they're underrated. Most people talk about Fat Boys or some of the tips that are kind of like twist to open butterfly Gillette razors, but the Techs are really, really fun to use. I almost feel that doing head-to-head comparison between this one and the 9051 Canadian Tech will be quite fun to try. Going for the third pass against the grain. The Techs are just enjoyable for against the grain. They're smooth. Obviously a little bit more chattery than the modern razors. When it comes to the blade clamping, of course, they're not as good as the current modern CNC machine razors, but that's very minimal and you really need to kind of like pay attention to it. It's kind of like nitpicky thing to mention. If you're extra sensitive to blade chatter and you have zero tolerance, maybe it will be a bit annoying, but it's so little. And if you don't have too coarse of a beard, I don't think that it will be even anything to notice. Yeah, I prefer the grip of the Canadian Techs. Don't like the grip of this handle with a with a long line design here. It's still a little bit kind of like um, on the slippery side. Provides a decent grip, but just not as good as the regular knurling. Not the best for detailing around the goatee, but it's doing decent job. Yeah, so far all the techs, they feel the same for detailing for me. And it's time for the alum block. I know that there is one little pimple that didn't make it. Just a bit of tingling under the jawline, my usual kind of like spot. Aside from that, yeah, nothing major. Rinse the face, and yeah, feels good. Nice and smooth. I'm gonna finish with the matching splash, Aylsworth signature. A bit more citrusy compared to the soap. Rubbing all these skin food ingredients well to the skin. That makes a difference. Ah, so good. The scent is strong of this one. Alright, that was another good shave with the vintage Gillette Tech. This one is the American Contract Tech from 1951 with Bakelite handle. Comfortable, enjoyable to use, smooth, mild razor, but it's getting the job done. I enjoyed the shave, it was pleasant. The against the grain pass, really nice and smooth as the other Gillette Tech razors. Yeah, the only kind of like the only two things, not one thing, is just the grip on the handle. It's solid, but can be better with the classic knurling. That's the one that I prefer. And another thing is that the handle weight adds different balance to this razor. Yeah, it's probably probably a little bit. I don't know if it's easier to maneuver. Maybe some people prefer it, but yeah, it's just different. I cannot really explain it. That kind of like stands out to me. I think that I prefer the 1951 Canadian one. Balance a little bit better. Again, these are kind of like nitpicky differences here. Once again, thanks to Aaron for allowing me to keep his vintage tech collection for quite some time. Appreciate it, my friend. If I have time, I'll try to do a head-to-head comparison between this one and the 1951 Canadian. I think that it will be interesting if I'll be able to identify something else as a difference. But yeah, another vintage Gillette Tech shave. It was very enjoyable for me. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Do you like the vintage tech razors? I know that quite a few of you mentioned that you love them, and I can see why. I'll try to see after I go through all of Aaron's Gillette Tech razors which one I like the most, and maybe I'll try to find one on the second-hand market. Thanks for joining me for this one. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care.